In September 2022, Ibrahim Traoré and other young military officers overthrew Lieutenant-Colonel Paul Henri Damiba, who had also taken power through a coup in January 2022, making Traoré the world's youngest head of state. In a televised speech on October 1, 2022, Traoré justified removing Damiba from office by stating that the beleaguered head of state had failed to address the enduring issue of insurgency, which had been terrorizing Burkina Faso for decades. Born on March 14, 1988, in Kera, Bondokuy, Mouhoun province of Burkina Faso, Ibrahim Traoré has proven to be a reincarnation of Thomas Sankara, the country's former president who led from 1983 until his assassination in 1987. He enlisted in the Burkinabe army in 2009. After making an immediate impression on his superiors, he was sent to Morocco for anti-aircraft training. He was promoted to lieutenant in 2014 and participated in peacekeeping missions in northern Mali in 2018. He took part in multiple counter-insurgency campaigns targeting ethnic insurgents and militant Islamists. His superiors lauded him for his gallantry in these confrontations. In 2019, he was stationed in Burkina Faso's north during a period of intense insurrection and was later promoted to captain. The people of Burkina Faso are suffering greatly due to terrorism in the Sahel region. By late 2021, a humanitarian crisis was visible throughout much of the nation, with approximately 25% of the population experiencing food insecurity and frequent food shortages in several areas. Insurgent gangs of all types roamed the countryside, some aligning with Al-Qaeda and others with the Islamic State. The civilian administration was overthrown in January 2022 by a military coup led by Paul Henri Damiba. Many supporters of the January coup were disappointed in Paul Henri Damiba for failing to stop the Islamist insurgency. Traoré later stated that he and other officers had tried to persuade Damiba to refocus on the uprising. But he was ultimately toppled because his ambitions were diverting away from what we set out to do. Younger officers on the front lines of the fight against the rebels expressed the most dissatisfaction with the state of affairs, and the Cobra troops' pay was delayed. Traoré was still a captain when the conspirators staged their coup on September 30, 2022, and announced him as the new military leader. Shortly after leading the coup against Damiba's government in September 2022, Traoré acknowledged that many people would doubt his eligibility for the presidency due to his young age of 34. He addressed government leaders, saying, "I am aware that the majority of you are older than me. We did not want what happened, but we did not have a choice." His prominence seemed to have diminished until July 2023, when he traveled to St. Petersburg, Russia, with 16 other African heads of state to meet with President Vladimir Putin, who organized the Russia-Africa Summit. Traoré acknowledged Putin's decision to provide free grain to African nations during the summit, but he also stated that by the next summit, Africa needs to be self-sufficient in food. He discussed the paradox of Africa's wealth in natural resources and its poor living standards. How can a continent with so much wealth like Africa end up being the poorest in the world today is beyond the comprehension of my generation. And why African politicians make round-the-world beg trips, he exclaimed. Furthermore, African presidents shouldn't be viewed as puppets by the West. He provided insight into the migratory crisis, where Africans fleeing poverty risk their lives in search of better opportunities in Europe. Traoré called on African leaders to resist manipulation by colonial interests, delivering a forceful critique of African leadership. He said, "Since 2019, Burkina Faso has implemented the renowned VDF, referring to the Volunteers for the Defense of the Fatherland, who support the regular army in combating both domestic and border terrorism." Using lines from Thomas Sankara's 1984 UN speech, "Fatherland or death, we shall triumph," and "the slave who is unable to assume his revolt does not deserve to be pitied." Traoré concluded his speech powerfully. These remarks resonated on social media, inspiring young Africans to pursue their goals with zeal. This time, Ibrahim Traoré expressed Thomas Sankara's vision for a brighter future for Burkina Faso by focusing on education, tackling inequality, improving healthcare, and safeguarding the environment, aligning with Sankara's commitment to sustainable development, which included planting over 10 million trees to fight desertification in the Sahel. Ibrahim plans to promote renewable energy, invest in green initiatives, and support sustainable agricultural methods. Regarding education, Traoré advocates for increased funding for schools, expanding access to quality education for everyone, and promoting vocational training to develop skilled workers, as he believes education is vital for both nation-building and empowerment. Ibrahim also aims to ensure that all citizens benefit from economic growth by striving for fair wealth distribution to address inequality. Additionally, he underscores the importance of healthcare accessibility and outlines steps to strengthen primary healthcare, improve medical facilities, and reduce healthcare costs for everyone. Add your voice to the total liberation of Africa by leaving a comment in the comments section below. Also, do not forget to like and subscribe for more informative videos like this one. Let's continue. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has also launched many projects in Burkina Faso and is committed to completing those he inherited. On November 23, President Ibrahim Traoré laid the foundation stone for the country's first gold refinery. The plant, with a capacity to produce around 400 kilograms of gold per day, is expected to yield its first gold 11 months after the project began. The project is being developed with Marina Gold, an established mining company. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the military leader of Burkina Faso, has made a bold move by banning the export of gold to Western countries, emphasizing a Pan-African approach to the nation's resource management. This decision aims to reclaim control over Burkina Faso's vast gold reserves and ensure that the benefits of these resources are felt domestically rather than abroad. In December, Captain Ibrahim Traoré announced that all international mining companies operating in his country would be forced to leave, a bold and far-reaching decision that shocked Africa and beyond. Notably, one of these companies was the Russian gold mining firm Nordgold. This bold move aimed to reclaim control of the country's substantial gold reserves. Traoré's deliberate decision ensures that the nation's gold reserves benefit local industry rather than international companies. Other African leaders who have seen Western multinationals exploit their natural resources and drive them into poverty share similar sentiments. Traoré's actions resonate with the Pan-African ideology of self-reliance and economic independence. By retaining more of the wealth generated from its natural resources, Burkina Faso aims to invest in local development projects and improve living standards for its citizens. This shift towards national control of resources is seen as a way to break free from the cycle of exploitation by foreign entities and to build a more prosperous and self-sufficient Africa. The ban on gold exports to the West aligns with a broader trend among African nations seeking to assert greater control over their resources and economic destinies. This move could inspire other countries in the region to take similar steps, fostering a spirit of solidarity and cooperation aimed at achieving collective growth and development across the continent. Some of the projects initiated and realized by Captain Ibrahim Traoré include modernization of all roads in the country, various entrepreneurship programs, construction of the Ouagadougou Airport, agriculture and rural development projects, the renewable energy project, water and sanitation projects, the Samendini Dam project. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is spearheading a significant agricultural initiative in Burkina Faso with the development of an $8 million tomato processing facility in Bobo-Dioulasso. Laid in September 2023, the foundation stone marks the beginning of a project aimed at transforming the country's agricultural sector. The plant spans 3 hectares and is expected to create over 150 direct jobs and more than 10,000 indirect jobs. The facility aims to address issues of waste and dependency on imports by converting locally grown tomatoes into products like paste, puree, and sauces. This move is part of Traoré's broader vision for economic self-sufficiency and sustainable development, with Burkina Faso producing around 290,000 tons of tomatoes annually, a significant portion of which was previously exported or lost due to perishability. The new plant will maximize the value of the country's agricultural output and enhance food security. The tomato processing plant is a testament to Traoré's commitment to improving the economic and social well-being of local communities. By investing in local processing capabilities, the project not only addresses immediate economic needs, but also lays a foundation for long-term prosperity and resilience, aligning with Traoré's vision for Burkina Faso's future. Traoré's government has worked on improving agricultural infrastructure, including irrigation systems, roads, and storage facilities. This helps farmers get their products to market more efficiently and reduces post-harvest losses. Support for farmers. There have been initiatives to provide farmers with better access to seeds, fertilizers, and farming equipment. Training programs have been introduced to enhance farming techniques and increase productivity. Investing in agricultural research to develop more resilient crop varieties and improve farming practices has been a priority. This includes partnerships with research institutions and international organizations. The government has sought to improve access to credit and financial services for farmers, enabling them to invest in their operations and manage risks better. Traoré's administration has worked on creating policies that support sustainable agriculture and address challenges such as climate change and land management. Overall, these efforts aim to boost agricultural productivity, ensure food security, and improve the livelihoods of farmers in Burkina Faso. In less than a year since taking office, Traoré has significantly improved the nation. Combating terrorism has also become one of his top priorities. In recent years, jihadist groups have intensified their insurgency against Burkina Faso. Traoré has pledged to ramp up the fight against these groups. He has also sought assistance from neighboring countries in combating terrorism. The French military, which was helping to suppress the local rebellion, was expelled from Burkina Faso by the Traoré government in February 2023. Subsequently, he supported Burkina Faso's international partnerships by stating, "We want to explore other horizons because we want win-win partnerships." Shortly after, the governments of Traoré and Mali urged Guinea to join them in a federation. All 3 nations are governed by military juntas, and if they unite, they would form the largest federation in West Africa. Traoré is exploring every opportunity to strengthen his nation. The formation of the Alliance of Sahel States, a mutual defense alliance by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, is a significant step by these countries. The alliance aims to defend against external threats or armed uprisings. The Alliance of Sahel States (AES) was officially established by Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger during their first summit in Niamey on July 6, 2024. The leaders signed the Niamey Declaration, which aims to transform the alliance into a confederation. The declaration highlights objectives such as enabling the free movement of people, services, and goods to promote regional integration, creating an AES investment bank and stabilization fund, promoting endogenous economic and social policies, and jointly combating terrorism in the region. The summit emphasized the alliance's commitment to regional cooperation, solidarity, and development. The leaders reiterated their determination to make AES a model for regional cooperation and development, ensuring the organization's smooth functioning. AES also aims to reduce the influence of Western multinationals and ensure that the region's resources benefit local populations. This initiative comes after the member states' withdrawal from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and their pursuit of closer ties with countries like Russia and China. Captain Ibrahim Traoré has also been strengthening military ties with Russia and moving away from the West, especially France. Burkina Faso has been actively strengthening its military and economic ties with Russia. Since expelling French troops in early 2023, Burkina Faso's interim president Ibrahim Traoré has sought new international alliances, particularly with Russia, to enhance the nation's defense capabilities and economic infrastructure. In November 2023, Burkina Faso's Minister of Defense, Kassoum Coulibaly, visited Moscow to meet with Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu. They agreed to intensify military cooperation, focusing on training Burkinabe soldiers and officers, including pilots, in Russia. This cooperation also extends to technical, logistical, and technological support. The collaboration reached a significant milestone with the arrival of approximately 20 Russian military personnel in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou. This marked the beginning of a more practical phase of their defense partnership. Additionally, discussions have included economic cooperation, humanitarian aid, and the potential development of a nuclear power plant to address Burkina Faso's energy needs. This partnership signifies a shift in Burkina Faso's foreign policy, moving away from Western influences, particularly France, and aligning more closely with Russia. This strategy is part of a broader effort by Burkina Faso to secure its resources and develop its military capacity to address both internal and regional security challenges. Ibrahim Traoré is widely admired both within Burkina Faso and beyond, and there have been calls to extend his term as his initial period approaches its end. This situation is unprecedented in African history. Traoré's dedication reflects his successful leadership, with speculation about a possible extension of his term circulating. The implications of such an extension could be significant for the entire continent. Burkina Faso stands at a critical juncture in its political evolution, as the transitional government led by Traoré nears its conclusion. Since taking office in September 2022 and being formally appointed interim president a month later, Traoré had pledged to guide the country towards elections in 2024. As the transition period ends, Traoré has announced his intention to step down, honoring his commitment to return power to civilian authorities. However, this announcement has sparked widespread public dissent, revealing strong support for Traoré to continue in his role. Tens of thousands have rallied in favor of him remaining in power. This public sentiment highlights the complexity of the situation, where the planned democratic transition is challenged by the demand for stability and ongoing development, an unusual scenario in African political contexts. The transition period of Traoré's government, which was originally intended to last until July 1, 2024, was finally extended due to the following reasons: security concerns. Ongoing jihadist insurgencies and security challenges have made it difficult to stabilize the country fully and plan a smooth transition. Political stability. The extension is also influenced by the need for more time to establish a stable political environment and create a credible framework for elections. Internal challenges. There have been multiple internal challenges, including coup attempts and political instability, which have affected the timeline for the transition. Following reports of gunfire near the presidential palace, hundreds of demonstrators gathered in Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso's capital, on Friday to express their support for the military government led by President Ibrahim Traoré. The protesters assembled at a key roundabout in the city center and pledged their commitment to upholding Traoré's regime. They reported hearing shots fired close to the presidential residence earlier that afternoon, but were unclear about the details. Yet they remained on site to prevent further incidents. According to Burkina Faso's news agency RTB, an attempt was made to assault a guard at the palace. But there were no injuries or damage. Security forces subsequently restricted access to the area around the palace. The country has been grappling with jihadist insurgencies since 2015, which have caused thousands of deaths and displaced around 2 million people. The military leaders have used this violence to justify their coups. This incident is not the first challenge to Traoré's leadership. In January, a failed assassination attempt was reported, allegedly orchestrated by Lieutenant-Colonel Paul Henri Damiba. Damiba, born in January 1981, previously served as interim president of Burkina Faso from January 31 to September 30, 2022, before being deposed by Traoré. The plot to explode a device inside the presidential palace was successfully thwarted. Following this recent threat, Burkina Faso has experienced further political instability, highlighted by the arrest of 4 military commanders accused of plotting another coup. Authorities have announced arrests and are actively pursuing other suspects, but have not provided specific details. There is growing speculation about whether those opposing Traoré are dissatisfied with his leadership or if they have alternative solutions for the country, or if they are driven by personal grievances. The recent assassination attempt underscores the severe challenges Traoré faces from both internal and external adversaries. It is suggested that the conspirators are not acting alone and may have external backing. As Traoré continues to gain allies, it becomes increasingly difficult for those opposing him to succeed. Since Captain Ibrahim Traoré took power in Burkina Faso on September 30, 2022, his tenure has been marked by significant challenges and notable actions. Rising from the ashes of a previous coup, Traoré has faced the daunting task of navigating a nation beleaguered by relentless jihadist insurgencies, political instability, and internal dissent. His leadership has been characterized by a focus on security and stabilization efforts, including extending the transitional period to address ongoing challenges effectively. Despite the setbacks, including multiple coup attempts and persistent violence, Traoré's administration has worked to fortify the military government's grip on power and lay the groundwork for a future transition to civilian rule. The extension of the transitional period reflects both the complexities of the current situation and the government's commitment to creating a stable environment conducive to democratic processes. As Burkina Faso continues to grapple with profound security and political issues, Traoré's leadership remains a critical factor in shaping the nation's path forward. His ability to balance the demands of security with the need for political reform will be pivotal in determining the success of his transition and the future of Burkina Faso's governance. Tell us what you think in the comments section below, and please do not forget to like and subscribe for more educative content like this one.